Here we go, everyone. This is Formula One. Incredible! What a move!
Chaos. And he's done it!
It's a moment I will never ever forget.
Kimi Antonelli has done it again. He has converted pole to victory and becomes the youngest championship leader in Formula One history. But that P1 doesn't tell the whole story. A hefty crash for Oliver Behrman changed it all. And further down, Oscar Piastri finished the race this time and he secured P2 while Charles Leclerc crossed the line third. So much to unpack. Welcome to your post-race show. Hello everyone and welcome to your post-race show here in a very, very busy paddock. Alex Brundle alongside me. Kimi Antonelli has just taken victory here at the Japanese Grand Prix. As I said, he becomes the youngest ever leader in the championship standings, the first teenager to ever lead. And my goodness, it was quite the race there, wasn't it?
It was a great race to watch, I thought, from start to finish. A lot of battling all the way to the flag. Tremendous performance from Kimi Antonelli, although he benefited from the safety car, but still demonstrated race-winning pace throughout. It's so clear, though, that Mercedes needs clear air. The speed it showed in clear air was absolutely monumental, but it's so tough for them to get through the traffic, and I think we saw that today.
We did, and we're going to get into all of that in more detail as well. But just staying with Kimi for a moment, youngest ever championship leader in Formula One history. That is quite something. Last time out it was youngest ever pole sitter. He's just raking them up, isn't he?
They get younger and younger. Mercedes have backed him for a number of years. We know how much support he has from Toto Wolff and that Mercedes team. They've really nurtured him, and they'll be massively satisfied to take him through to this moment. But it looked every bit the assured performance. Like I say, he took the benefit of the safety car, but still managed to deliver the pace to the flag.
Let's just pause for a moment as we bring in Liam Lawson. You just come alongside me here, Liam. Well done today, P9 for you. How are you feeling after that one?
Good. A little bit mentally drained. It's very intense this year. You have a lot more that you're thinking about when you're driving. So yeah, it was actually quite a tough race. We definitely got lucky with the safety car today. So I don't think we would have been in the points without it. But yeah, very thankful for that.
There'll be ones later in the year that don't fall your way, mate. So I'd take them all.
Yeah.
Give us a feel for just how much there is to do behind the steering wheel. I mean, we watch these battles right from the side of the track. What's going on inside the cockpit when you're racing like that?
Well, you're learning a lot through the race, and to be honest, at the start, like Gabby passed me, and I didn't even see it coming before turn 13, and I was like, brilliant, I've lost a place. But then he had no battery going into 16, so I just passed him back without even doing it on purpose. So we're sort of all figuring out through the race, okay, if we use that deployment here, we don't have it the next straight, and that's what was happening to everybody. I was watching the guys in front. One would overtake before the last chicane, then get overtaken before turn one, and in the end, I had Esteban behind me, and I think he realized this as well, and we just both stayed quite sustainable in similar modes, and I was able to keep him behind.
You mentioned that you got lucky there with the safety car, but as Alex said, swings and roundabouts. But if you're able to get P9 today, where you feel like you didn't actually have the pace necessarily for a result like that, what is it going to be like when you get some upgrades and you do have that performance underneath you? Does that give you a lot of optimism?
It definitely does, because to be honest, a couple of weeks ago in China, we had an unlucky safety car and we still finished in the points, and we weren't really that quick there either in the race. So I think it's very positive when we do get some speeds like we had in Melbourne. To be honest, I think we're in a great position, because right now we're extracting literally everything we have out of the car and finishing in the points. So it's quite positive and exciting.
You got a bit of an unexpected gap now, 5 weeks until the next one. Take us through what happens now. Obviously going to go home and chill out, I would imagine, for a couple of days, but then what's the focus of development over the break?
Well, I have to get a new passport first because I'm out of pages in mine. So I'm actually going to New Zealand. But then straight back to have for sure a little bit of time off. But obviously this early in the season, we have to keep training and with, I guess, for all the teams, probably bringing a few parts to Miami. I'll be spending some time with the team for sure to prep, spend some extra days in the simulator now that we have the time and try and go into Miami with an even better car.
Liam, thank you so much for joining us and well done on the points today.
Thank you.
We will
Thanks,
let
guys.
you go. Life admin doesn't escape anyone, not even Formula One driver. Liam off to renew his passport. Okay, as we said, there is a lot to unpack from that race. Before we really delve into the details, let's have a look back at the highlights.
The Japanese Grand Prix is underway. Watch Piastri, race leader Piastri, past one Mercedes, past two Mercedes, third to the lead, and he's brought Charles Leclerc to second place. Both the Mercedes crawled off the line, Lando Norris to third. Game on in Japan. It's Piastri, Leclerc and Norris. Big speed, huge speed, and not a contest. Antonelli past Hamilton, he recovers a place. He's up to P5. Comes across the line, that's George Russell, and he disappears past Charles Leclerc to second place. Russell to the inside of the chicane, and George Russell undoes the damage at the start and takes the lead. Is it going to be pass and repass again? You bet it is. Oscar Piastri finding the Grand Prix this year and fighting for it. Kimi Antonelli up to third. Two Mercedes now in the fight for Grand Prix victory. Oh, he nearly dropped it. And he's reopened the door. It is a big crash for Ollie Behrman. Behrman off the road and into the barriers. And it's Antonelli, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc. And an easy pass. Lewis Hamilton through. Lewis Hamilton to third position. Whoa, problem for George Russell. George Russell loses a place. Charles Leclerc takes the racing line, and Charles Leclerc takes third place, but they're nearly making contact again. Hamilton goes to the inside, Russell sweeps on by. Here we go. Oh, here's the chance. It's been coming, and there it is, but look at what corner it is. Charles Leclerc sweeping back though, and he retakes his place on the podium. Kimi Antonelli wins the Japanese Grand Prix and leads the championship at 19 years of age.
Good effort, man. Good effort.
Yes, man. Woo! Let's go, man.
What a day for Kimi Antonelli. We can hear now from Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff, who is with Greg Stewart.
Well, Toto, even Kimi admitted that there was a bit of luck involved in that one, but two races on the bounce for him, a phenomenal performance from the young 19-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. He's delivered a really good race, apart from the start, so we need to go to driving school with the clutches. Yeah, he was fast when it mattered.
Talk to me about the starts. Is that something Mercedes will need to work on in the coming weeks that you have to play with?
Yeah, definitely. It's not our strong point, but also the drivers were immaculate. That's how it looks at the moment, so we need to improve overall.
We don't hear you on the radio very much, but you're on the phone to George, calming him down. What do you think his emotions are going to be like going into this enforced break?
I think, where it went wrong was in qualifying with the setup and then everything in the race. You can say start wasn't great. As I mentioned, we need to work on that. And then unlucky with the safety car. Then we gave him a super clip, which was unintended in terms of energy harvesting, and that cost him the position to, Leclerc, and that's why it went backwards.
And final word on Kimi. Monza 2024 seemed a long time ago now. He's really showing why you put your faith in him, isn't he?
Yeah, don't remind me about Monza 2024. That was difficult. Yeah, I think he's shown he's quick. He's shown that he's now able to deliver solid weekends, put the performances in, and be stable.
Congratulations,
Thank you very much.
Go enjoy it.
Well, a day of slight mixed fortunes for Mercedes there, with George Russell struggling a little bit, but for Kimi Antonelli, what a day it was. Victorious once again, consecutive wins. Let's have a look now at how the championship standings look after round 3. Kimi Antonelli, our new championship leader, at just 19 years old with 72 points. His teammate George Russell just behind with 63. The Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are third and fourth with 49 and 41 points. And then the McLaren of Lando Norris, our current champion, 25 points. Oscar Piastri behind him, followed by Ollie Behrman. And then we go to the second page. Arvid Lindblad in P11, Hajar, Bortoletto and Sainz, Esteban Ocon getting a point today, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Albon, Bottas and Perez. And our final two pages will come up very shortly. It's just the Aston Martin drivers, of course, who are yet to score. Lance Stroll not making it to the end of the race today. And our Constructors' Championship, Mercedes lead the way with 135 points, Ferrari in second with 90 points, McLaren, the reigning Constructors' Champions, 46 points, Haas are in fourth with 18, and then we have Alpine, Racing, Red Bull, Racing Bulls, Audi, Williams, Cadillac, and finally still searching for those points are the Aston Martin team. Well, welcome to the show, Jacques Villeneuve. Lovely to have you joining us once again for our post-session debrief. Kimi Antonelli taking victory. It was a rough start for him, dropping to P6, but he got it back and he crossed the line where he needed to.
Well, he was the quickest car all weekend. So winning was logical, but he really messed up his start. So then does that really make you winner deserving? Who knows? And he had a hard time to come back through the field. And it was the same thing for Russell. It seems that car in traffic, all the other ones can fight, can stay in traffic. The Mercedes can't. They need to be in the fresh air. Then obviously a little bit of a helping hand, and he maximized that situation. He was very good at that. And when you want to win a race, you also need to take the situations and put them in your favor.
You do. Let's have a little closer look at that race start. He had excessive wheel spin there. We can get a replay. Alex, do you want to talk us through this?
To be honest, neither Mercedes get away well. And they've got to be looking at Piastri here, because obviously that McLaren has the same power unit in the back of it, and thinking, well, McLaren are making it work. Why can we not make the start work? The understanding on it is that they don't have a good enough control of the state of charge of the battery. So at the beginning of the race, what you have to do is rev the engine against the MGUK to charge the battery, and so they're off with that. We're looking at the full race story here. This obviously the defining moment for George Russell, really at the front of the field. The safety car for Oliver Behrman. Russell already having pitted and said just about most of the field taking the safety car for tyres.
Now, of course, Kimi did get lucky with that safety car, but it was quite exciting to see that Mercedes PU up against another Mercedes PU, because we saw them, of course, battling with the McLarens there. And it was interesting to actually see them in that battle, not completely against themselves, but against the same PU, right, Jack?
Yes, and it looked like Piastri could have stayed ahead in front. They were managing their batteries in different areas of the track, and it doesn't look like the Mercedes way was the right way in the race. It was good to do lap times, because once he was alone, he was flying, but not in a battle, not in a field. So the McLaren could have stayed ahead. What I did not understand is why pitting Piastri when, after having pitted Norris, the team should have realized that, well, the new tire didn't work for 2 or 3 laps. So why don't you just read what's already happened and wait an extra 2 or 3 laps, because the undercut did not work. There was no point pitting first.
And on Oscar Piastri's side, he finished P2, came on the radio and said, you know, when we actually finish these things, we're pretty good, which was very Oscar-style humour there. But he did look good today. As you said, he had the pace underneath them. Do Mercedes need to be worried? Because we know that McLaren are a team that are very good when it comes to development. Is that going to be something that Mercedes are keeping an eye on?
I mean, you don't count out the Constructors' Champions at any time. I think Oscar Piastri drove a brilliant Grand Prix today. He got off the line really well, as we've just seen, but also he was really smart in traffic against a couple of faster cars, you know, understanding the parameters of the circuit, making sure that he had the energy in the right place, and then having the composure, as several drivers did through the race, but Piastri's the one that stood out to me, to allow cars to pass him, to take not only the boost back down the start-finish straight, but also the overtake for the next lap, to then not only maintain the position, but also gap I think it was George Russell he was battling with. So I think he really drove a nice Grand Prix. His comment is tongue-in-cheek, but I think it's got a little bit of weighting to it. Actually, aren't we good when we start? It's a focus point, isn't it? You know, we've got to start getting the reliability sorted, and actually, if we do, the pace is pretty good.
It is. Let's hear from Oscar Piastri himself. He was talking to Lawrence Barretto earlier.
Well, all you had to do is start a race, Oscar, and then you can get a podium. But in all seriousness, obviously great result out there today. I know it wasn't the win, which it could have been today. So what's the overriding emotion after that?
I think very happy. You know, I think we executed everything we could have today. I think, to be honest with you, even without the safety car, I think it was going to be hard to beat Kimi. So, yeah, very happy. Obviously, you know, it's been a tough start to the year, and to come out with a P2 and feeling like we had a chance of a win, it's pretty special at this point. So, no, very proud of everybody. I think we did a really good job this weekend of getting the most out of everything that we could have, and yeah, got the results we deserved for it.
So it does sound like you and the team are just understanding your car and these cars much better right now.
Yes, I think, to be honest, we probably surprised ourselves a bit with how well we were able to hang on. I think, if anything, you know, obviously once Kimi got clean air, it was way quicker than everyone, but the fact that I could even keep George behind and the Ferraris, you know, we thought the Ferraris would be incredibly strong. So the fact that we could keep them behind and kind of, you know, not super comfortably, but comfortable enough, was a positive surprise. So, yeah, very happy.
Great stuff. Congrats.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Well, that was Oscar Piastri, our P2 finisher. Let's now hear from his team principal, Andrea Stella, who is with Greg.
Congratulations for Oscar's podium, but I imagine there's some bittersweet feelings in the team. Was this a race that he could have won?
Well, you know, like today, I think there's a lot of positives to reflect and take on board. So that's the predominant feeling. You know, it was important, first of all, for McLaren to have two cars starting the race and two cars to finish the race. We have seen strong qualifying performance, strong starts off the grid, a car that can compete with the Ferraris. Obviously, Mercedes seems to have still a little bit of an advantage. And today, who knows, without the safety car, we could have had a go at the victory. It looked like we could have kept Russell behind in the first stint. Could we kept Antonelli behind? It's a question mark we will never know. So we don't, you know, dwell too long on it. We just take the positives and we look forward with some optimism.
Do you feel like McLaren are back at the races now? Is this a positive restart for your season?
Indeed. Indeed, is a positive restart, and is a positive way of going into this break of a few weeks. It's going to be actually a very busy time. I'm sure it's the same for every team, but very busy time at McLaren. We want to deliver upgrades to the car. We know that from a chassis performance point of view, there's quite a bit that we have to improve. That's what we're going to do. It will be a long season, and a season in which we are optimistic and looking forward to.
Congratulations, Andrea.
Thank you very much.
A long season ahead indeed. We are joined now by our P7 finisher, Pierre Gasly. Congratulations, P7 once again. You've now scored in the opening 3 Grand Prix. How are you feeling with this sort of start to the 2026 season?
Yeah, I must say it's very positive. It's been a very good weekend. 7th in quali yesterday, which was the best we could get really out of the car, and same today. I must say it was pretty intense, and I'm gonna sleep well tonight after these 25 laps of keeping Max behind. But yeah, very enjoyable. I must say it's a lot more enjoyable when you're fighting in the top 10 for good points. And we were the fourth quickest car today. The team did a very good job, gave me a good car, and I think hopefully it gives good motivation to keep pushing and try to find more.
I checked in with you on the middle of the stint in the hard tyre, and you were everybody but the Mercedes. You were on pace. It bodes pretty well, doesn't it, in terms of race pace for the rest of the year?
I mean, I was like positively surprised. Like we managed to, we dropped away behind the McLaren and the Ferrari, but not that much. I mean, we finished 7 seconds behind Lewis, but 18 seconds in front of Lawson, who is P9. So we were like in that better train and seems to be on the good side of the pace. So I pushed really hard at the start. The last 15 laps, I was not too much at ease, and but yeah, overall, I'm just glad we had what we needed to keep Max behind.
Thank you very much, Pierre, for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and congratulations once again on such a solid start to the season. Pierre having to keep Max Verstappen behind there, Jacques, I can imagine that was quite an intense race for him.
Yes, because Max is a tough one to fight against, but there seems to be a change in Gasly this year. Last year he could sometimes get the car quick in quali, but then it would fall apart in the race. This year he seems to be able to work on the car during the whole weekend, get it better, 10th here, 10th there, make the car more comfortable. He seems to be in a better zone, and he's happier, more focused on getting his car to a position where this is the maximum we can get. We'll keep making progress, and that's a good sign.
But he's been waiting for this car as well, Pierre. It was such a tricky year last year. He's got the Mercedes power unit behind him, and now he can work on it. I don't know if it's coming across to the viewer, but every driver that comes and stands next to us, they are drained.
Yeah, they are.
They have worked hard. You can see it in the eyes of the drivers that join us. They've really done the job.
It's not physical, it's mental. It's the mental drain of all the energies and the focus they need for it, because physically the cars aren't quick compared to last year. So it's not physical, it's mentally draining.
That is something that Alex Albon has said to me previously as well. There is so much thinking and coordinating that he's having to do with these new cars. But back to Pierre and back to Alpine. Franco Colapinto, his teammate, was caught up almost in that incident that we saw with Ollie Behrman, a hefty crash for him, 50 Gs. Thankfully, of course, he is okay. He doesn't have a fracture or anything like that. But just talk us through this, Jacques, because, like I said, this is a hefty crash, a big impact for Ollie.
And I was surprised that nothing was done to Colapinto, because this is what you don't want to see. A little move just as you approach the corner in such a dangerous corner where he's actually regenerating energy, I guess. Now we've seen the danger of this new regulation. The speed differential with some movements can be so dangerous, and there's nothing Ollie could do. And I don't understand what Colapinto was thinking, moving at such a slow speed in such a dangerous place.
It was really difficult to see, but as we said, most importantly, Ollie Behrman is okay, and he was checked out in the medical centre, had an X-ray, and there were no fractures or breaks. What did you make of Colapinto there, Alex? Because you noticed something in terms of the lights on the back of his car.
There are no recharge lights going on. I'm led to believe that would fall into where we would expect to see harvest lights on the rear of the car as well, that flash at different rates to let the drivers know that's occurring. So either it's not fallen into that parameters, and I would dare to suggest it should, or they've had some sort of issue at Alpine.
They did earlier on the season with the lights.
but a nasty moment there for Oliver Behrman.
It was indeed, but as you said, most important thing is that he was out of the car okay, and even though he was limping a little bit, he's been checked out and he is doing fine. So sending wishes to him, he's got a little rest now. Let's now hear from Franco Colapinto and get his take on the race and, of course, on that incident too. He was speaking earlier to Lawrence.
Well, Franco, it looked like a really tough afternoon out there. First thing I wanted to say was, what did you make of it when you saw Ollie's car flying straight past you?
No, I'm glad he's fine, to be honest. It's the first thing I asked to the team, because it was a really big one. I saw him spinning on the grass, and then I knew it was a very hard hit, so I'm glad he's fine. And yeah, it was just a long day today. Generally, not what we wanted. It was a difficult weekend overall. It was a lot of things that we tried to understand, but sometimes we couldn't get the answers. And I think in the race, the pace was actually good and decent, but we were just really stuck. Good start, then stuck behind Liam for the whole stint on mediums, tried to undercut, did it, but then the safety car really punished us. Liam finished P9, so I think we were really close to the points. But again, the safety car played against us once again. So yeah, need to, now there's a break to try and understand many things that we still don't have an answer for, and try to get better for Miami.
Great stuff, thanks Franco.
Great to hear there from Franco Colapinto. He finished P16 today. Of course, he was running the same spec as teammate Pierre Gasly, but just not able to extract the same from Pierre, who has had an absolutely incredible start to the season, as we have already said. Let's now talk about Ferrari, shall we? We saw Charles Leclerc up on the podium, P3, Lewis Hamilton, P6. We said before the race, keep an eye on those race starts. The Mercedes sort of got lost in those race starts. Alex, what did you make of the performance, and how much of a threat could Ferrari be, given that we think we're going to see a little upgrade from them under the Aduo rules?
The Ferrari's so raceable, isn't it? Off the line, on the restarts, and then, you know, another driver gets down the inside, fully down the inside of Charles Leclerc, or they go side by side into turn one, and it's got so much poise, even offline, that he can go charging around the outside and maintain the position. The additional development and upgrade opportunities.
Well done. It's a mouthful, but we got
it. They're still convinced that they will get something for the PU. If they do, after 6 races or whatever is agreed, still underway the discussions about whether the races that we won't have in April affect the timeline on that. That is going to be one serious race car with a step forward on the PU.
It will indeed. They finished 3rd, Ferrari, in every race we've had so far this season. Let's now hear from team principal Fred Vasseur, who is with Greg.
Well, Fred, the Ferrari podium streak continues. Some smart driving in the end there from Charles Leclerc. How happy are you with the result?
Yeah, I think overall it's a good weekend with a fantastic drive from Charles the last couple of laps to be able to keep Russell behind. He was a bit unlucky, but like George with the safety car and so. But overall it's a strong performance. Now we have 1 month in front of us to come back a bit stronger before Miami. But it's good to score points, to be always there and to keep the pace of the championship, because it's important for the rest of the season. But it's clear today that we have also a deficit of performance in the straight line. They were complaining a lot, but it is like it is, that we have room for improvement, let's say.
Once again, we saw the Ferraris battling very closely on track. Just, are you happy with the margin that the drivers are giving each other?
As long as we have the 2 cars at the end, yes, I'm happy that it's a good emulation, and I think everybody would prefer to have the 2 cars in front, that one at the front and one at the back, and that I'm very pleased with this. They have a huge respect between them. They know perfectly that it's Ferrari first, and they are doing a very good job on track.
Finally, just a word on McLaren. Have they joined the fight now, or do you think there was circuit specific?
Yeah, but this is a code from journalists. You know, that it's not because that they didn't start in China that they were not into the fight. They were next to us on the grid. They were there. Now you can have a DNF or a DNS in this case, but they are there and they were there and they will be there. Nothing changed for me in my mind.
All right. Well done, Fred. Thank you.
Jacques, Charles Leclerc finishing at P3 there, and he had to put in quite some work there to keep George Russell behind. We saw George really chasing him down, but ultimately Charles able to do what was necessary.
But like you said before, that car is very racy. The drivers can play with it, they can fight, and it reacts very quickly, even to acceleration. So it gives them a sense of better racecraft than the 2 Mercedes drivers. Because every time the Mercedes got in the fight, the 2 of them, they would either lose out or lose an extra position with a car that's a lot faster. And that's the odd thing. But we see the Ferrari has got a much lighter rear end. And sometimes they get caught out with that. You could see Leclerc sliding out the corners more. Lewis as well, a little bit too much, and that he had to pay the price at the end of the race. And that's a trend we have from the beginning of the season with the Ferrari, and that will carry on. And now we're getting on tracks that are very different, less high-speed corners, and it should help them.
And we saw the 2 Ferrari drivers getting very close once again, battling. I'm sure Fred is holding his breath at some of these moments. Alex, what do you make of this battling? It's so exciting for us to see.
Well, Fred clearly trusts them, and so he should. The question on this, and to be honest, I'm almost reticent to say it, because we love to watch them battle so much, but then, you know, you end up with Lewis under pressure from Russell, having drained the battery fighting Leclerc, and you wonder, You know, is that great for Lewis Hamilton to race? But at the end of the day, at this stage of the season, you've got two drivers that you've got to let race, and I think they've proven over a couple of weekends that they can do so really respectfully. So I mean, we're not going to discourage that, are we?
We definitely are not. But what we are about to do is bring in another world champion to our lineup. Damon Hill joins us now. We've got two former title protagonists.
You've got yours on. I'll put mine
against
on.
each other here
I can
in
see
the
what you
lineup.
look like.
Damon, lovely to have you with us. Lovely to have both of you. What a lineup we've got. Damon, what a race. We're here debriefing it. What is your take on what we just got to see?
Listen, I think I know that some of the drivers don't like having to slow down and charge their battery up, but I think the racing's very interesting. I think it's tactical, and I thought that drivers they're having to think, you know, and we're getting entertained. I was. What's your...
Yeah, like you said, it's interesting, not exciting. It depends what you want out of F1, but, you know, the fans are probably happy because Suzuka is never an exciting race. It's just follow each other around. Now there was some swaps.
Yeah, I mean, we got some overtakes and then re-overtakes. Now, that very rarely happens in our sport, doesn't it?
Well, the first two Grand Prix, we got that kind of racing for, you know, the first portion of the Grand Prix. But it felt like this one, it lights to flag. Yeah. We had, you know, cars passing and repassing each other.
Yeah. We were just talking about the mental strain that the drivers now have because there's such a mental element of the driving that they're doing. Can you guys just give us a bit of an insight into how difficult that would be when you're also managing the F1 car?
No, because when we did it was very easy.
Exactly, so can you imagine?
I was speaking with Jack about this morning, and I mean, they are overloaded with things to think about, and I think it is literally like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time and then juggling and trying to do a maths equation. I mean, it really is. I mean, they've got so many buttons and stuff to deal with. I think to concentrate on just driving is almost impossible.
You guys got more blisters, though, didn't you?
We were hard. We were hard men.
Who were your other standout performers from that one, Damon? We were just talking about Oscar Piastri, of course, finally finishing a race, and McLaren looking very promising.
Yes, I think Oscar's still very hungry after missing out last year. So I think that he shows he was good all weekend, and it was good to see McLaren sort of at least looking a bit stronger, and that's great for us. We've had three different marks in the top three, and lots of drivers there. You know, you've got, that's 6 drivers that could be a winner. That's pretty good.
Could you give us a little bit of insight into the Williams race there? We saw Alex Albon seeming to just switch to doing tests for Miami. He had 6 pit stops. What was happening in the team?
They were just trying a bit like Fernando, you know, down the bottom end. They can't get any points. They need to learn as much as possible. They missed the first test and they need to find out stuff. So I think they were doing a bit of research. But
there's no testing, so...
There's no testing.
You said, you're not going to get points.
No.
Do some testing.
But real track time is so valuable that they got to find out as much as they can while they're here.
Well, especially real track time with everyone else out there as well. You can, sure, everybody else is driving their own race, but at least you can start benchmarking what you're doing against some real-world data too.
Yeah, definitely. It's correlation, isn't it? It's, you know, the data they get from the factory says one thing, and then they go to track and it says something different, and then they know they've got to get to the bottom of that.
Heading back up to the front of the grid, do you reckon, Damon, that Mercedes are worried about McLaren and Ferrari behind them? Because it was a nice mixed-up podium for us there.
I think they're experienced enough to know that nothing lasts forever. You know, being at the front, you can enjoy an advantage, but in this game, the rate of change is so quick, and I think that they also know that they're Mercedes-powered competitors. I don't think they can know what Ferrari are up to, but they know that the other Mercedes-powered teams are learning what they already knew, and they may well find out the way to... Hello. They may find out the way to gain... Some of this is about knowledge. It's not about necessarily pure performance. It's about how to use deployment and the algorithms and all the rest of it that come into play.
I'm interested from both the 90s world champions that we've collected.
You don't need to say 90s.
Oh, sorry. Both the world champions that we've collected. You've got the Merc, which is mega in clear air. You've got the Ferrari, which looks really raceable. The McLaren, we know how brilliant the team are at developing a car through a season. If you had to pick a berth now for the rest, not for this race, but for the rest of the season, with a view on those teams, pick a team to lead. Which would you have?
Well, we've seen McLaren being very good at responding last year. But I would be worried if I was Mercedes now, because the first 2 races, easy. You know, they felt safe. They don't feel safe after this race. The gap is not as big as they expected, mostly on a track that is very car dependent. This is a track where if your car is good, you'll be in front. And a weekend for Mercedes where you don't finish first and second is not a good weekend. A normal weekend for Mercedes is first and second. Today is a big off.
No, I didn't really hear what he said because he was talking over there. So, did you say Mercedes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. So there you go. I mean, you take them over anyone at the moment. They've got the upper hand. But at least they did look like they were a little bit under pressure. I mean, but the fact is that once he got clear air on a new set of tyres, Kimi was just walking away gradually, and there's your measure, I think.
Yep, 13-second lead across the line for Kimi Antonelli. Jacques and Damon, we're going to let you go, but thank you for joining us. That was absolutely lovely chatting with you
Nice
both.
to have
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the day. Right, let's now turn our attention to Red Bull and to Max Verstappen, who finished P8, unable to chase down Pierre Gasly.
Max, it looked like you were making some progress early on in that race, and then it kind of looked like it stalled a little bit, I guess, because you were coming up to tougher traffic. Just talk me through how you feel about it all.
Yeah, I mean, at least my start was a little bit better. I didn't lose too many positions. And then, yeah, I think, got past a few cars, and then, of course, at one point you hit a ceiling. And I think with Pierre we were very closely matched. Maybe on pure pace we were a tiny bit faster, but that's easy to say now. It was just very hard to pass. I mean, I could pass, but then I would get repassed straight away because my battery would be empty. So yeah, I did try it once. I got by, but then yeah, on the main straight you have no battery, so that's it. And then just tried to keep pressure on, hoping for maybe a mistake or deck from the tires, but that didn't happen. So we finished really closely. So yeah, I think I did try to maximize with all the difficulties that I had in the car, because what I had yesterday was there also today, so it made it incredibly tough to feel good in the car, to be honest.
Does that kind of show you were saying that maybe only a fractionally faster than Alpine, that it just shows how much work you guys have got to do to take a step forward and get back to where you used to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something negative compared to Alpine, because I think they're doing a good job. It's just for us, of course, this is not where we would like to be. But at the moment, I feel, of course, we're a bit more in that midfield battle than up at the front.
All right, thanks, Max. Cheers.
Well, that was Max Verstappen, who finished P8 today. Of course, he's going to be really hoping that the team are able to take some steps forward with that car ahead of Miami, which we have a little break between.
Welcome to Miami, around the iconic Hard Rock Stadium.
It's a special place to be.
Welcome to Miami.
The Miami Grand Prix is underway. Verstappen got his elbows out. These two continue their titanic tussle. What an amazing spectacle.
This race just delivers something a little bit extra.
This is the Miami Grand Prix.
Oscar Piastri wins.
Nicely done.
Well, let's have a look at how the schedule will shape up for Miami round 4. We'll kick off with weekend warm-up on the Thursday at 5:30, and then on the 1st of May, we'll have practice 1. And don't forget, it's a sprint weekend, so sprint qualifying at 4:10. This is all local time. On the Saturday, the pre-sprint show will start at 11:20, with the sprint starting at 12. Qualifying at 4 p.m. on the Saturday, 3:25 to join us for the pre-quali show, and we'll be straight off of quali into post-quali. And then Sunday, the 3rd of May, is race day, and it's going to be a good one. Miami always delivers such an atmosphere. The pre-race show will be brought to you at 2:50, with a race start at 4 p.m. and then post-race show after as well. And let's now have a little look at the F1 sim racing schedule, because we'll also have that coming up as well over the Miami weekend. So again, we're keeping you well entertained. Well, It's been a busy, busy weekend here in Japan, and it's going to be a very busy weekend when we get back racing in Miami, because it is a sprint weekend, and that always delivers that extra bit of action, doesn't it?
And I think we're going to see a total revamp of the order to a degree. Well, total revamp, somewhat of a revamp. They've got a long time between now and then to figure out these cars and bring something new. So many of the teams are looking at bringing a big upgrade in Miami. So we'll see what they bring to the racetrack at a totally different venue once more for Formula One.
And just quickly, which teams do you think are really going to benefit from that break in terms of actually make a step forward? Not just use it to learn, but actually take the step.
At the front of the field, Ferrari will be hoping they can do just that and challenge a Mercedes on pure pace. But also, you know, you've got teams like Williams desperately trying to make their way through the field and progress through Q2 into the points maybe. So I think there are a couple of teams towards the rear that will make a big jump forwards. And then I think the battle at the front will tighten up once they've crunched the data from this event and figured out the best way to do the various things they need to do to be competitive.
Well, the battle today was won by Kimi Antonelli, and we can hear from him now when he spoke to Lawrence.
Kimi, congratulations. I imagine in those first few moments when you were down in P6, you might have thought victory would have been a bit challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I was very annoyed with the start. I really need to find a way to, you know, to do good starts, because to be fair, the whole weekend it looks like, you know, we were doing a good job, and the start felt all strong, but then in the race, I don't know, I think I just did a mistake, and then obviously put me in a really bad position. Pace was super strong, to be fair, and of course we were lucky with the outcome of the safety car, even though on the medium we had a really strong pace, to be fair. So yeah, obviously I was lucky, but all in all, it can happen. You know, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes badly, but this time it went well for me, and I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, now I'm gonna enjoy the win, but at the same time, gonna work hard on the areas where we need to improve. Of course, we have 3 weeks now to recharge, and yeah, just gonna need to come back stronger, and I need to raise my game, because it's not gonna be easy.
Kind of feels like you are raising your game weekend in, weekend out. That pace right at the end was insane. On a personal level, here in these first 3 races, you pretty pleased with what you've got out of yourself personally?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the pace. I think I was feeling very good with the car, and the pace was, you know, it was a really nice thing, because on the hard I was able to push, and you know, every lap improving, and I was in a really nice rhythm. And so that was a lot of fun to drive, even though I was counting the laps at the end, because I wanted to finish the race. But yeah, very happy with that, and now a bit of rest, a lot of work to do still, and yeah, then excited to be back in Miami in 3 weeks' time.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Kimi. Cheers.
Well, lovely to hear from our winner today, our new championship leader and the youngest to ever lead the Formula One Championship standings. As he said, he and the team will be hard at work over the next few weeks, as will everyone in this paddock and the sim racers as we gear up for Miami. It's been an absolutely fantastic weekend here in Japan. Thank you, Alex, for keeping me company through the weekend. Thank you to everyone that's joined us on the show, and everyone back at base in Biggin as well. That is all from us. Of course, we're sending our well wishes as well to Ollie Behm, and hope that he rests up over these next few weeks and he is feeling okay. But for now, that is all from here in the Suzuka paddock. Thank you so much for joining us at home. We'll be back with you in Miami. Enjoy until then.
Next time in Formula One.
Formula One returns to Miami. The Miami Grand Prix is underway. The two rivals are side by side. This is super tight. Hamilton's gonna get both of them.
This is what Formula One is about.